Hello, I'm Avia Moore. Some nonverbal cues and unsubconscious things that people do that make it hard for me or bug me are people who tend to just look around or just not looking at me while we're talking. It makes me think that they don't really care for the conversation we're having, or that they just are not into the conversation. And most oftentimes I tend to just stop talking. Like, I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I'll just they're not listening anyway, so I'll just stop talking. And that's when people are like, well, you were just saying something, continue. And I'm just like, I didn't know you were listening. It is a very bad habit I have as well, of looking around, and I mainly do it out of thinking, but it's when I'm in the middle of a conversation and I'll keep talking. It's just hard for me to deal with. Or when people are really fidgety and they just look down and they're looking at what they're fidgeting at, it makes me feel like they're getting stressed out or anxious from our conversation, or they're uncomfortable. And I tend to just stop having that conversation with them, and it tends to lead to them to be like, hey, we were just talking about this and you kind of stopped. I know that it's an anxious thing for people, and I totally get it. I'm an itcher. When I'm anxious, I'll start scratching or I'll start rubbing things, and it's a nervous thing for me. It's just people who are just very they'll just look at their nails or they'll start scratching or looking down. That's when I'm like, oh, they don't care for this conversation, they're getting anxious. And I've never ever want to make anybody uncomfortable when we're having a conversation, so I'll tend to drop the topic. And those are just some little cues that I struggle with, telling if someone is pleased or if they're unhappy with the conversation we're having. And I always try to make sure when I'm talking with somebody that they're actually genuinely interested in the topic, and not that I'm forcing them to have this conversation with me. I never want to make someone that I'm having a conversation with feel that way. And I guess those are just some of the little things that I'm I don't know, and I struggle with personally. And I'm trying to work on the ones of looking around, because it's just me thinking. That's just how I can think better, I guess. That's just how I feel. But I usually state when I'm talking to someone, if I'm looking around, I'm thinking. I'm not just ignoring you, because I'm always listening. But yeah, thank you so much for your time.